Hello and welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host Samit Paul, and in this episode we're looking back at Aston Villa's goalless draw with Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park on Wednesday night. So this Palace hoodoo of ours continues, unfortunately, as although I think this was a decent point away from home, given how the game played out and our struggles against Oliver Glasner in the last 7 meetings, it also felt like a missed opportunity to get something more. As with every game, I'll be discussing my 5 key talking points as we have a deeper dive into the draw with Palace. But first, let's have a listen to the boss, Unai Emery, and his thoughts on the game as he spoke to Villa TV.
Very fantastic response the players here away against Crystal Palace. Of course, we were winning our raw matches, but how we compete today as well was very fantastic. And we dominated the first half. We had the chances to score. We didn't concede a lot. In the second half, we started with the same idea and we started dominating again, but we lost maybe 15-20 minutes with their push, and they created some chances to score, and in that moment we were struggling, but we reacted again fantastically last 20 minutes, and we again created one post, Oli Watkins, a very good opportunity of Morgan, Emiliano Buendia, and we compete fantastic. And of course, today, this match, we were, I think, closer to win than lose, and we draw, and we must accept it. And how we are overall in the table in the day 21, I think is fantastic, and keep going. I am looking forward to prepare the next game against Tottenham, the next match as well, Premier League Everton, Europa League. We are motivated, excited, and we are with a lot of objective in front to continue in the way we are doing.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after our 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. So on to my 5 key talking points then, and let's start with this Palace hoodoo of ours that we're seemingly unable to break. Now, as I said, that is 7 games without a win against this opposition, 2 draws and 5 defeats in those outings. Emery hasn't quite managed to figure out Glasner. I think there were encouraging signs in the first half and at the start of the second half. I thought we controlled tempo and possession really well. We gave ourselves a foothold, control, quietened the crowd, got into the game, and the platform was set really for us to kick on in the second half and try to start building some sustained pressure to find that all-important breakthrough. Unfortunately, I think we sort of lost our way as the second half played out. Things became a bit ragged, a bit sloppy. The tempo suited Palace more, who grew with momentum and got the crowd going. And we were the ones under pressure from that point onwards. There was a sort of flurry towards the back end of the game where we did start to threaten again with Ollie Watkins hitting the post with that header. But overall in that second half, I just thought Villa became a bit ragged, lost our way. And Palace will probably feel unfortunate on their side that they couldn't get more from the game in the second half. So given the way that the game played out, and with our historical struggles against Palace in mind, it is a decent point away from home at a ground that we struggle at. But simultaneously, I do think it was a missed opportunity. Had we been more clinical, or one of those big decisions had finally gone our way, because apparently we're just not getting penalties this season, we certainly could have returned home with more. But we'll take the point, and hopefully we can build on this and continue to improve. The second point is a bench boost with Pau Torres returning to the matchday squad. Now, Victor Lindelof continues to impress in his absence, but having Pau back in the matchday squad is undoubtedly a massive, massive boost for us. His influence on our build-up play and the work that he does in general with the ball is critical to how we want to play. And while Lindelof ended Wednesday's game with 100% pass completion percentage, it's still Pau's position in my mind. When he's fit and available, he is a starter. And also when you counter in the fact that he's got such a strong partnership with Ezri Konsa in the heart of our defence, I think it's a no-brainer that if he's fit, he starts. So hopefully we'll see him make his comeback against Spurs this weekend in the FA Cup. But just having him available is an important development in itself, because the schedule is now going to start becoming a bit more hectic. As I say, you've got the FA Cup coming up, then you've got the return of the Europa League fixtures in conjunction with the Premier League fixtures, and so getting players back fit and having a full squad is going to be absolutely crucial to Emery. Just as a side note, Ross Barkley did post an update on his own recovery as well, a caption on Instagram saying that he's back out on the grass at the training ground, which is an important boost because it gives us another option in midfield. Emery has then got the ability to rest Tielemans and Kamara more effectively whenever he sees fit. There are question marks over whether Ross Barkley is actually going to still be with us until the end of the season. His current contract does expire in the summer. The club, I believe, does have an option to extend for a further 12 months. But if an offer comes in this month, we can offload him and perhaps bring in a more impactful, consistent and reliable option in that department. Then that may be something that Emery and the club look at. But as it stands, he's a Villa player, and just like Pau, it will be important to get as many injured players back from their setbacks, get them back in the squad, get them available, and give Emery those tactical alterations and tweaks that he can make during games. The third point is on Emiliano Martinez, who was once again forced off at half-time with an injury. Emery confirmed after the game that it was a calf issue. That's now a fifth muscle issue that he has suffered with this season. His calf has caused him problems previously, and he's missed 6 games thus far as a result, with the potential now for that tally to obviously increase with his latest setback. It's not ideal to be without our first choice goalkeeper, especially when there's such a big character and as influential and decisive as Martinez can be. Marco Bizot does a solid job. He impresses when he deputises, so there's no sort of concerns there in terms of we've not got the backup to fill in for the absence of Martinez. But having that consistency, that familiarity and solidity at the back with our first choice goalkeeper is crucial. And hopefully this isn't a major setback that's going to sideline him for too long. He did obviously come back out for the second half and sat on the bench with the rest of his teammates. But hopefully the news is good and the update is positive during the week from Emery. Martinez isn't sidelined. But longer term, I would say it is a bit of a concern. You can't keep having these setbacks consistently when we're we're hoping to challenge for major honours first and foremost, get back into the Champions League. This is something that we're going to have to deal with potentially in the summer, whether we're looking for a long-term solution, long-term replacement after all the transfer speculation last summer over Martinez leaving. It remains to be seen if that's something that we look into once again at the end of the season. On to the fourth point, and that is Jadon Sancho struggling to build momentum. So he's obviously restored to the starting lineup for this one, and it was hoped that he could make a positive impact, particularly given that he looked good on the right-hand side the last time he played. I thought he made a promising contribution in that last game, and he was given that opportunity to build on that and get that consistency on the right flank. That unfortunately didn't materialise. He struggled to get into the game. He didn't really contribute too much to our attacking play. And having been largely anonymous for the game, he was replaced just after the hour mark. Now, Emery has done an incredible job of improving players and getting contributions across the team since the minute he was appointed. We've seen it with countless players just taking their game to the next level under his management and coaching. He'll be desperate to try and unlock Sancho's quality on a consistent basis, because we do need that sort of alternative dynamic in the final third. Yes, we're getting contributions from Rodgers, Watkins, Buendia was chipping in. We do have other options, McGinn with the goals at the weekend. But Sancho is a player that we've invested in terms of his wages, we've invested in highly. He's got an important role to play, and we're going to need some of that more decisive play from him in the attacking third to start making the difference for us. So he's struggling at the minute to really get things going, but Emery will stick with him, no doubt, and hopefully he can unlock him in the coming weeks, do an important job for us in the second half of the season. The fifth and final point is that this is a decent outcome, all in all, and given with favourable results elsewhere, it's actually been another decent week of fixtures for us. Now, our approach in every game at the moment is ultimately to find a way to win it. That 11-game streak proved that. It's weird that this sort of one win in the last 3 feels like a bit like a slump for us at this point. But it's hoped that we can end that in convincing fashion in the upcoming games, with Tottenham in the FA Cup coming up on Saturday. And then we host Everton the following weekend, which starts a run of 4 out of our next 6 Premier League games being at home. So given our incredible home record, you'd like to think that we're in a strong position now to put a decent run of form together. But with the gruelling fixture schedule that we've had, the Palace factor, the hoodoo that I've spoken about, this draw on the road, it does feel like it's a decent result, and we're still in a fantastic position. Not only have we sort of edged closer to our required points target when it comes to Champions League qualification, that's a bogey team completely out the way now, and we have, as I say, 4 of our next 6 league games at home where we've been amazing. So results elsewhere largely been in our favour. We saw Manchester United and Chelsea drop points again. We'll see if Liverpool follow suit. There's obviously a chasing pack with a lot of other teams now that are yo-yoing in that pack in the middle. But we do have to keep our foot on the pedal and make sure we don't allow that sort of gap to shorten too quickly. But obviously the focus from our point of view is going to be focusing on the next game, Tottenham getting a win in that one and then rolling on to the next game and focusing on that one. So step by step, as John McGinn put it. So what were your thoughts on our draw with Palace? Was it a decent point? Was it a missed opportunity, or a bit of both? Leave your comments below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Head over to talkvilla.substack.com and get involved in the conversation over there. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. A big thank you for taking the time to have a listen. Please subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening. That's either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube. Give the episode a like or leave a review if you've enjoyed it. Sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack for ad-free Villa news, opinions and analysis delivered directly to you. And there's also an option of a paid subscription for bonus content. All the details will be in the description of this podcast, but for more, please go to talkvilla.substack.com and subscribe. So although Villa couldn't find a way to get the better of Palace in midweek, results elsewhere ensure that we're still in a great position in the Premier League table. We're still pursuing our Champions League football target. It's Tottenham away in the FA Cup next, before we host Everton in the league. And so it's hoped that we're able to start putting these wins together again and keep building. I'll be back after the Spurs game this weekend to discuss all the big talking points from that one and anything off the pitch with the transfer window open. And we're expecting more business from Villa in the coming weeks. But until then, up the Villa.